Everybody got their coffee. Get your coffee, get your tea, get whatever it is you're having on this amazing Labor Day weekend.
Chance.
Of course, right when I go live, my kids start calling me. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Are you at the lake? Are you with family? Are you working on this Labor Day? I want to welcome everyone. So today, I know it's a Labor Day weekend for a lot of people. I'm going to try to keep today's short training really talking about what is Labor Day, right? So the word labor, if you look it up, and I can't look it up because I'm live on my phone, but if you look up the word labor, it is to put in your efforts, right? To be building something, to be working towards something. How many of you are hard workers? Drop in the comments. Let me know, what do you do for a living? And not just what you do for a living, but are you self-employed? Do you work for someone else? What is your craft? Let's get in the comments and everybody share, what is it that you do? I would love to get get to know you a little better. And the reason why is because when you look at the way that people were brought up, get my screens going here. If you look at the way that you were brought up, a lot of times, kids learn what they live, and they develop patterns based on what they saw. So for instance, let's say that your mom is a college professor or a teacher. They're going to have a certain set of beliefs that's probably, you need to go to work, you need to work for 40 years, you need to get that retirement watch, make sure you got your 401k, get all your benefits. That is a way. That is a way. And a lot of people do that. How many of you are in a corporate job and you have worked your way up the corporate ladder? You've got a great job, you've got a great title, you're getting some incredible benefits. Drop in the comments, let me know. My mother-in-law actually got her master's degree, and she was a brilliant woman. She started out as a single mom. She developed a desire to never have to depend on anyone else again. I remember when Brooklyn was in my belly, she was working, as an administrative assistant at the hospital. And then by the time Chance was born, she was going back getting her continuing education. And then by the time Callie was born, she was in Maryland getting her master's degree. And in 2001, she could have been a counselor at a big city school. She was actually getting ready to go become a counselor at a big city school in Wichita, Kansas. And I remember, like, wow, she was 55. She was older than I am right now. Went back, got her master's degree, landed a great job, brilliant-minded woman. And she was going to be a counselor. She was very, very good at it. And then a lot of things happened, and she even bought a house there. She was 2 weeks from taking that job and lost her youngest son and didn't take the job and never went there and worked. But she always had that certificate on her wall that she did it, right? She got her master's degree and she could help people. Our entire family has always been passionate about that. And I think a lot of it was what she lived, right? She wanted to have purpose and help people with something that she lived, which was mental health, being stable mentally, overcoming trauma. That was her passion. That was her purpose. That was her career. How many of you are in a career because someone in your family taught you that trade, or you saw them become successful and you were like, I think that's what I want to do? And then tell me this, how many of you are in a position where you're doing what you're doing because of a way that you grew up and you're like, that's what I never want to have happen in my family? Like, there's both sides to that. So let's just have a little on the back porch conversation today. Monday is Labor Day because the United States recognizes that some people need a day off. Drop in the comments if you need a day off. How many of you are so excited that Monday there is going to be no work? It's a 3-day weekend. You're so excited about it. And then how many of you are entrepreneurs? Like, today's end of the month. If you think for 1 minute, I'm going to be booze cruising on a boat, pretending like it's a holiday weekend, ain't no way that's happening, right? Because if you're self-employed, days off go out the window. Every day you're your own boss, and you might be on the lake because you're self-employed and you can do what you want when you want, and you have all the money in the world to pay for it. But some of you maybe are just starting a career, right? So I was thinking about my daughter Callie this morning because she is on her way to work in Tulsa at a store that she opened 5 years ago. Next weekend is the 5-year anniversary. And the first 365 days, she never had an employee. She labored. And when Darian, her fiance, was playing at Tulsa, if he would have a Tulsa basketball game and it was at 4 in the afternoon and the store closed at 6, she would literally not leave until 4, put a sign on the door that there was a family event. She would be right back, put her phone number, give them a discount, give them a code, go watch the game, maybe not even wait till the end, and then get back there because she was laboring to build something of her own. Think of the word labor. Oh, what comes to mind if you're a woman? I know what comes to mind when I say the word labor. Labor is you putting in the effort. It's planting the seed. It's punching the clock. It's building the bridge. It's patrolling the highways. It's cutting the hair. It's teaching the dance students. It's being an educator in a classroom. Whatever it is that you're doing, you're laboring in order to what? To provide a result that's going to benefit you and your family. So let's take a poll here. Out of everybody watching this broadcast, drop in the comments if you love your job. On a scale of 1 to 10, nobody's judging you. Where is your happiness right now with what you do? 1 to 10. Drop in the comments. And if you're afraid and you can't say 1 to 10 and you're worried that your boss is watching, or maybe your upline, or maybe it's me you work for, just say no comment. If you love what you do, tell me what you do. Tell me what you do on a daily basis. Like, what is your title? Oh, I see my mother-in-law, Michelle. Okay, let me tell you a story about Michelle. I worked with Michelle at Red's Chicken House when we were 14 years old. I was 14, she was 17. And not only did we labor, when there was not a customer there, we had to get on our hands and knees with the chrome polish and scrub under the tables where there was bubble gum stuck under the tables, people's shoes, chicken grease. It was freaking disgusting. But we did it, and we did it with the hopes of what? That we would get a raise. And then as we got older, I opened a salon. Michelle actually had a house cleaning business. And she cleaned houses every day, all day long. Now, one day, she came to me and said, I think I want to groom dogs. I want to go to dog grooming school, but I'm kind of afraid to give up my houses that I clean. And I will never forget it. We owned a dance school, and there was a little room right off the entrance. A little room, I'm going to say 15 by 24. It didn't have any windows, and it didn't have a front door. But we said to Michelle, if you want to start your own business, we believe in you. You can use this room free. Let's see how you do later. If you want to get your own place, get your own place, but it's zero risk. You can always go back to cleaning houses. Today, I'm not going to tell you what she makes, but I don't know how much you guys pay to get your dogs groomed, but I've never seen a day that she was out of there before 5. And there's a dog about, I don't know, Michelle, drop in the comments, every 30 minutes. Cannot keep up. So that is a prime example of someone that had a dream, was tired of cleaning other people's houses, wanted to, she was already an entrepreneur. Don't get me wrong. She already kept all the money from cleaning houses. If you love to clean, go clean houses, right? But what can you do to really labor and love what you do and know that there's going to be no cap on what you do? So Dave and I have done a million things. Actually, he's going to be my special guest at 10 o'clock this morning on our company training, because you name it, we have done it. I grew up with a single mom. So did Dave. Now, before my mom was a single mom, on the weekends, my dad's favorite thing to do, we would drive 80 miles from our little podunk town to this city called Salina. And we would get this newspaper called the Shopper's Guide. And my mom and dad would look for like people that had problems that were trying to make money. So that it would be like must sell set of jet skis, must sell pontoon boat, true story, must sell fifth wheel camper. And my mom and dad had a grocery store, half of a Sonic drive-in, half of an RV park, 2 dairy distribution trucks. So they literally plugged their semis in outside of our house. They got bids for the school, the Dairy Queen, the Sonic, the A&W, the 24/7 convenience store, the Stop to Shop, the Daylight Donuts, I don't even know, the Merides Cafe. Everyone in town, my mom and dad would go there and they would bid to get the best prices they could on dairy products. So literally, I'm the daughter of a milkman. But I grew up on the route with my mom and dad, wheeling in the old cream cans, you know, the antique cream cans that people have on their porch. Like that's how you used to make ice cream at Dairy Queen. And so if Dairy Queen would run out of cream, there was no ice cream. And it didn't matter if we were at the lake 15 minutes away on Labor Day, or if we were at a family picnic or a funeral. If Dairy Queen ran out of cream, the whole world was about to stop until Lana and Terry Zorn got in their truck and went there with their dollies and all 5 kids in that semi throwing frozen French fries, ice cream, cream cans. Like we just grew up learning to work. When it was harvest, they cut people's wheat. When it was alfalfa season, we threw the bales. When it was summertime, not only did they have an RV park, there was a putt-putt golf. So I was selling putters. Do you want a red ball, a yellow ball, a green ball? And here's your scorecard. So I apologize sometimes because I know I am a lot, but in every ounce of my being is work. Like, why would you want to not be working towards an ideal goal or dream? Fast forward, my mom and dad are so busy making a living. I'm not going to say anything bad about my parents. They gave me everything, every ounce of my being. But I learned a lot about relationships because you're either growing or you're dying. And sometimes even the best intentions of parents. We had a nice home. We had a Lincoln Continental. We had a boat that they got from the Shopper's Guide and made better. We bought pontoon boats that were ugly. We painted them with the aluminum paint. We reupholstered the seats. We got the cushions. We sold it for more so we could make money to take a 2-week vacation at the end of the summer, which usually meant 15 minutes away on the lake. Like I grew up on the lake because it was the only place you could go on vacation and still get back to work, right? And they were so busy making a living. Somehow, all the priorities, all my dad's past trauma, all of the things crept in, and the enemy won. The enemy won. That's what we're going to say. My mom and dad lost everything. My mom was on the courthouse steps begging at a sheriff's sale that we wouldn't be evicted from our house. My dad was gone, midlife crisis, lost his mind. Another woman or women, just everything. They were ranching, they were grocery storing, they were RV parking, they were distribution trucking, they were rental property. Like they were everything, like family of the year. And then it was gone. So when I look at Dave's mom and dad, they owned the Western Wear store. You know, his dad was the commander in chief at the VFW. very respected Marine, the most amazing man you're ever going to meet. And if I were sitting here today talking to Dave's dad and stepmom, I think the story would have been working, stress, alcohol, and addiction. And it doesn't matter what we do, guys. It doesn't matter what we do to labor. At the end of the day, we can all work and work and work and work. And at the end of the day, if you don't keep your priorities in check, your life goes by. And the next thing you know, there is a stone where your body's not there, just, there's some ashes or remains. Your soul is gone. And the only thing that is left is the impact that you made, the experiences. Now, if you know you're born on one day and you're going to die on another day, and people are going to remember the impact that you made, if you're looking at what you're doing right now to labor and you can't wait for Friday, thank God it's Friday, and you dread Monday, oh my God, it's Monday. I would do anything for a 3-day weekend every weekend. I want to tell you, make a change. Make a change. I will guarantee you there is nothing more important than your peace of mind and your freedom to go be you. To go be you. And I see so many young kids, just like I was. I'm going to do 30 haircuts a day. At the end of the day, I'm going to make $500 a day. I mean, I was 21 years old making $500 a day. It was amazing until I had 3 little kids. And dropping them off in the morning, picking them up late at night, never seeing my husband, passing each other in the hall, trying to get to a craft show on the weekend. He was strapping his hand to a 2,000-pound bovine so he could achieve his goals and dreams. Men need that. I'm telling you, if you think all the way back to caveman days, the man would go out and kill the game to feed his family and have the bone. Like, think about it. Like, we are all feeling validated by what we do for our family. And there are so many people who do not feel significant. They do not feel valued. They do not feel validated. They're chasing the American dollar, and it's destroying families. It's destroying health. It's destroying mental health. It is causing disease. Most disease comes from dis-ease in your life. And 50% of the people I talk to hate their job and have no idea how they could ever do anything else. So if for no other reason than the next 5 minutes, here is your sign. Every single one of you has gifts. I mean, I look at some of the people that have had impact on my life that aren't entrepreneurs, that are not going to ever be self-employed. They're not going to be their own boss. Let's take, for instance, a nurse. A nurse should probably be the highest paid person in the world because, quite honestly, and I think the doctors would agree, I have a lot of doctor friends, the nurses do more than the doctor. The nurses are there with you until the end of life. The nurses are there with you at the beginning of life. Yet I see so many nurses struggling to even pay their bills and daycare, right? They should be the highest paid, next to military. I look at military and I think, why do they do what they do? Do you want to know why most soldiers do what they do? Because they don't know what else to do to get an education paid for. And they want to serve their country. They would love to be that hero that saves you and I, that protects you and I. They want to be able to do something significant. Think of the word recognition. Babies cry for you to pick them up. Grown men die for a Medal of Honor. They literally, it's no different than the caveman, right? Back in the day. Or I think of like cowboys and Indians. I mean, this has been around forever. I work, right? I work. I provide. And then somewhere along the way, women got in the workforce. Now, I just went to a 10X Women's event that was amazing. Amazing. Me, myself, I have never felt inferior to a man. I've never, ever been in a boardroom where I was like, they're not going to listen to me because I'm a woman. No, they're all listening to me because I'm a woman, right? I'm not a women's advocate that, oh, we have less than. I think we create what we have. And if you're in a room where a man's going to make you feel less significant, you're in the wrong room. You're not a tree. You can move. You're not stuck anywhere, right? So growing up, I was very insecure. And I did have a lot of false beliefs. And then one day I married this amazing man that said, you are enough. You're beautiful. Oh my God, you're the most beautiful woman in the world. How did you do that? Show me how to do that. Like Dave grew up with a dad that was an engineer, worked for the telephone company. They did have Pitcox Western Wear, but his mom was a stay-home mom. My mom was never home. Like I was the stay-home mom when I was 12, right? Because my mom was a hustler. She was like, did you feed the kids tonight? And I'm like, did I feed the kids tonight? Like, I don't even know how they all survived. I was a good mom. But at 12, my sister Lori and I, we were running a household. So we learned a work ethic that you don't go to bed till the socks are mated or your dad's going to wake you up and beat your ass. Like you don't leave dirty dishes in the sink. You do them all before you go to bed. I mean, if you're laying in bed and there's a sock on the floor, get up and pick up the sock. And I think how you're raised has a lot to do with how you work. So how did I get recognition? How did I feel valued? How did I feel loved? How did I feel celebrated? Ask yourself that. How did you feel growing up, celebrated, loved, and validated? Unfortunately, and I'm going to say this and probably hurt some people's feelings, in this day and age, for most young kids, it's sports. It's sports. I was never an athlete. My mom wouldn't have been able to afford the damn cleats. My little brother tried and she got his at the thrift store and he still says his toes are deformed because they don't have size 13 at the thrift store. True story. Jeremy will say that till the day he dies, but man, he can work. He can work, right? It's a blessing and it's a curse because having your children learn a work ethic, have a coach, have goals, have dreams, be busy. I mean, kids that are involved, yes, they are more apt to be a goal-striving machine, and they do develop high self-esteem, they develop confidence, they learn discipline, they have a mentor, all the things. But I will tell you, out of 5 siblings, not one of us was an athlete, and every single one of my brothers and sisters is an incredible 6-figure earning human, and none of them are in my profession. None of them. None of them are building my business. They love my products, but I'm not like, do my business. You need to do what I do, because everybody needs to go do what they do, and they need to love their rhythm of life, right? So I married Dave. His mom is brainiac. Dave can do trigonometry, geometry. What's the one crazy math? What's the one crazy math class that you took? Calculus. Okay. He marries C student at best. I couldn't even get algebra 1 or pre-algebra, guys. I barely made it through general math. True story. And the only reason why I did is because I sat by a smart kid that helped me, right? And so when I look at the two of us, 2 completely different backgrounds. Dave started out in our marriage going to college, going to night classes. He was a foreman, worked for fiber optic cable company. Like he had a company truck. We had insurance, which was important because if not, we would have needed a medical card. Our moms couldn't help us in any way. There was not a lot that Dave knew that he could do. And then one day we had a mentor talk to us about being your own boss, doing what you love every single day, and soaring with your strengths. Now, you can develop any skill you want, because Dave Pitcock was very shy, introverted guy, riding bulls, blue jeans, definitely not Slick Willie in a suit and tie. But in 3 years, in 36 months, he went from no experience to a number one sales in a company, all because of training, mentoring, and listening to a guy named Jim Rohn that said, you're not a tree. You can move, you can change, you can pivot. You need to get in a rhythm of life that you love what you do every single day. And every single day since 1996, we have been doing everything we love. And it doesn't matter if I go open a med spa, if I go open a dance school, if I go open a Christmas store, if I decide to put a CBD store in a mall, if I decide that we're going to do Airbnb, if we want to go flip a house, if we're going to put our cars on Turo, if we're going to decide to open a clothing company, if I want to do a nonprofit and go speak in schools, whatever we decide to do, it is the same principles. It is the exact same principles. So I'm going to tell you this. It doesn't matter if you're an A student or a C student. Newsflash. C students with a work ethic can hire all the A students to be smart and run the company. You don't have to look in the mirror and say, I am less than. I couldn't do that. I don't know what to do. If you love a 3-day weekend and you love that it's Labor Day, let me ask you a very simple question. Why wouldn't you make every weekend a 3-day weekend? Some days I don't even know if it's Saturday, because every day could be a Saturday, right? Unless it's the end of the month, because the end of the month is a very important day when you're in sales. Your team needs you. They're striving. They're working towards a goal. They need their mentor, right? And energy matches energy. So if I'm going to be like, hey, I'm going to go get drunk on a boat, well, probably my whole team would be like, it's cool. It's Labor Day weekend. Let's go get drunk on a boat. No offense if any of you are drunk on a boat. Kudos to you for working so hard that you could be out on your boat. But one of my favorite books, Dave and I got sent to us by a mentor, was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And Rich Dad, Poor Dad breaks the world up into 4 quadrants. Any of you who don't know about it, just Google the 4 quadrants. So let me ask you, are you an employee? Drop in the comments, I'm an employee. And there are a lot of employees that make 6 figures. I mean, I met a girl last week at the 10X Ladies event. She started out as a teller and she became the president of a bank. And annually, in many countries, over a huge bank, she was at $3 million a year. And she was just running a bank. But she worked her way up from scrubbing the toilet to running the bank. Not just one bank, but like all the banks. And then one day in corporate America, she was forced to do something that was against her integrity by a man. So they were all butthurt about it. I'm never going to get on that soapbox. I work with so many amazing men. We work together so well. I think we can all be equal. I'm all about power couples. Like, where's the men in this entrepreneurship, right? Like, let's build up our partner. Let's get together with our partner and look at your husband and say, what could we do to get it together? And we could just rise. And I think for Dave and I watched my mom and dad work together as a couple the entire time that I was growing up. So I can't imagine Dave wanting to go do a business without me, because I would be like, what about me? Now, he did do one. He did open a taxidermy shop that was crazy. He's still like the best taxidermist in our entire area. And I did cut hair, I guess. I wouldn't expect Dave to do a haircut. And I definitely don't want to skin a buffalo. That was disgusting, right? So we both had our own crafts that we did. But at the end of the day, we would come together. When is the last time that you came together with your spouse, with your partner, and said, let's build an empire together? When is the last time you thought about, let's create a college fund so when we die, our grandkids can go to college if they want, or they can take that money that grew and they can have a foundation to invest to start their own business? So there's employees, that's the E quadrant. There's investors, right? Investors invest in properties and stocks. My neighbor guy, he kills it. He invests, not stocks, he buys and trades commodities, which is like Spanish or Chinese to me. I don't even know what that is, but some days he makes a ton of money. And like they're going to Dominican Republic at the end of the month. And the week before that, they're going to Vegas for 5 days. And I think sometime this week, a party bus is taking them all to the airport just so they can party all the way to the airport. Like me and Dave are like, that must be what retirement looks like. Like we're not there yet. I don't want to be there yet, right? You can retire at any time you want based on your labor. Your labor and where you put your time, energy, and money is what decides when you're going to retire. Now, I had an aunt that lived at the Lake of the Ozarks, and her husband worked for the union. He worked on the railroad, and they went and bought a lot when they were like 40. And they were like, we're buying a lot on the lake. And when we turn 50, we're retiring. Now, let me tell you, they didn't have a mansion. They had a little fishing boat. They didn't have a big house with a big yard. They had a little yard and they had a little ramp, and they put their fishing boat in the water every day. And they did little odd jobs, but they lived below their means. And they said, when we're 40, we're going to retire on the lake. And by God, they did. And guess where we all went every year on vacation? We went to Aunt Shirley's and Uncle Charlie's because it was fun. We made memories. We stayed in the little cabin. We caught all the fish. We learned how to water ski. And they weren't rich, but they were happy and they were free because they decided that they were going to retire at a certain age, and they did it. And here's what I want to ask you all on this 3-day weekend. What is your plan? Do you even have a plan? Are you working your plan? Or are you working from 9 to 5 every single day, sometimes 9 to 9, for somebody else to get their dreams so they can take their family to Hawaii, so they can buy their family a nice fishing boat, so they can buy their family a mansion on the lake, so they can put their kids through college? And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. But why not you? Why not you figure out a way that you could become financially free? And that doesn't mean that you're rich. That means that you have more income coming in than your monthly expenses, which means you might have to live below your means. Sorry, allergies here. My throat's killing me. And you work the plan. I love helping people design a plan where they can do something that they love. I love the fact that Dave and I said to Michelle, you can open a dog shop in the back room. And I love that today she's like, I kind of want to think about where I want to move, where I want to retire. I could sell my business. It's booming. It was an idea. It was an idea that someone said, you can do it. You should do that. And you know what, guys? A lot of other people were like, are you nuts? You're going to cut dogs? What if you get bit? Ooh, yuck. I would hate that job. She loves dogs. She loves being with dogs and not having to talk to people. She says, drop your dog off and leave. Can you imagine? What a fun life if you love dogs. How many of you love kids? You could do a daycare. You could do a preschool. You could do a coaching program. You could have a dance school. You could do gymnastics. You could have a football camp. You've got to think about what it is that you're really, really good at and what it is that you love so much. You would do it for free. And you should go do that and eventually only do that, because that would be your rhythm of life. Do you know that if all I had to do every day was wake up, get my mushrooms, put my minerals in them, sit on my back porch, hook up StreamYard, go live with all of you and say, what are we going to crush today? Let's set a goal. Let's crush our goals. Let's make money. Let's plan a trip. Let's plan a party. Let's celebrate people. Let's help people. Let's make impact. Oh my goodness. Did you see so-and-so's results? This is all I would need the rest of my life and my grandkids. I just need my grandkids. If I just had my kids and my grandkids and I could meet with all of you every single day, I would be rich beyond my wildest dreams and never need anything more. Because here's what I do know. I've had all the money, and my kids can tell you the same thing. They've had a lot of success. Everything that goes up must come down. It is the journey, not the destination. And one of these days, you'll figure this out for yourself. You can't wait to have your first child and your first house. And then all of a sudden, you have your first house and you're up all night with this new baby. And you're like, oh my gosh, what just happened? And you love the baby and you love the house. But tell me if I'm wrong. The dream and the journey to get there is when you were the most excited, right? And then you work all the way until you raise that child to become an adult. And then the real joy is when you become a grandma, because then you get all the joy of that and you get a second chance to do it all better than you did the first time. But let me ask you, how many people do you see that are complaining? These kids are so much. This is so much work. This life is so busy. This is so crazy. I never get done with the laundry. Do you know how much groceries they eat? And it's funny when you listen to people. Most people are complaining and they can't wait for a break from life. They just can't wait for a break from life. Even I will be guilty. I'll be like, oh, it's Sunday. Oh, everyone's at church. I'm just going to lay here on my boat today. I'm just going to read and pray. I do say that every week. And Dave will be like, why do you love Sundays? Because on Sundays, I actually know that it's a day of rest, right? And even though I still work, I love Sundays because I can justify that I'm going to take a break. And for all of you who love what you do, keep crushing it. Keep breaking the records. Keep outselling everybody else. Like, keep changing lives. Keep being the great nurse. Keep being the best teacher. Keep being the number one real estate agent. Like, if you love what you love, keep doing it. But if you don't love what you're doing, we should talk. Because here's what I do know. And maybe it's just because I've been through a season of grief. Here's what I do know. At the end of this marathon, when you are all done and you've done all the work, your inbox is still going to be full. You're still going to have some customers that are pissed. You're still going to have a yard that needs mowed. You're probably not going to have all your clothes folded. You're still going to have bills coming in the mail. You're still going to have people that are expecting you to do certain things. And you're not going to be able to take all this stuff with you. Ain't nobody got a U-Haul behind a hearse. Nobody. And when Dave and I cleaned his mom's house out, we moved it all to one of our Airbnbs and we set it all up. And it was so sad. And then we were like, we can't get rid of this stuff. But we sold the Airbnb to launch Frequence. And we put it all in storage. And then we bought another house and we decorated the whole house. We have a little rental right across the street. Beautiful, with all of Cindy's gorgeous antiques and oak and all the memories. And we're like trying to hold on to something that was, right? And you miss what was, but it's gone. And we worked with her every single day of our life. Like, we worked hand in hand with Cindy every day of our life. But do you know what? My kids never talk about how much money we made with Nana Cindy. They never talk about all the money that we made and all the companies and how much was in the bank account. They don't talk about the white seats in the silver Jaguar. They don't talk about the boat that's in storage that we haven't even been on as a family in 3 years. Do you know what they talk about? They talk about how she made them feel. How she made them feel. And if you're a grandma or a great grandma, I think about last weekend. My little granddaughter had a 6th birthday. And oh my gosh, guys, it wasn't a 3-day weekend, but it was a great weekend. And we had everybody in the kitchen. And I'm in a family of workaholics, right? So they're all grinding. Like, 4 of the boys are racing. Chance is doing the vinyl for their car. Michelle was there. She's talking about, her week ahead. My mom had people calling from the campground. Campers were coming in. My brother's running his body shop. There's been a hailstorm. He's backed up for 5 years. In fact, quit doing tires because he couldn't even keep up. My sister, Tracy, she's a realtor. She's like, I can let the girls stay the night. But man, from 6 o'clock to 1 tomorrow. I'm going to be booked. I have so many showings. My brother-in-law's hauling oil. I'm like, do you guys want to come to the lake? Oh, I would, but we took our vacation. I got to work next weekend. My sister's doing nails and toes. I mean, my other brother has a landscaping business and 90 rentals and a car wash with my mom. And you guys, everybody's just running, just labor. And I think my advice to every single person is find something that you can do, that you can live off the money coming in and you don't have to work. Live below your means, invest in something. For instance, you move into a duplex, you rent one side, it pays for your rent. You have a boat in storage, rent it out or sell it. You have a riding lawnmower, mow your lawn, put it on a thing where people can rent it for the day. Like there's so many things that you could do to make money while you sleep that there's no reason why anyone should be strapped without money, worried about credit card bills, back taxes, tuition, all the things. We live in America, and Dave and I are about to do a full training on this. Free enterprise. You can do and be and have anything you dream of. So why just punch a clock? Let somebody tell you when you can go to lunch, where you can park your car, where your kids can go to college, if you're going to be able to have a vacation, what kind of health care coverage you can have, how you can dress, when you need to wake up, what time you need to go to bed. Like, this is not a dress rehearsal. This is real life. And the finale is coming, right? The finale is coming. And you got to get to a point in your life where you don't react to every single person around you and you put yourself first and you say, here's the beginning of my life. Here's the end of my life. In the middle, there is this dash. What do I want to accomplish? And it's not about you. It's about who you serve and how you witness and what you do to impact while you're here. Really, that's the only reason why we're on this planet. Some people don't learn that lesson. They have to keep relearning it. Dave and I were happier in Cody, Wyoming, in a cabin with the pipes freezing and frost on the inside window of the shower, going to the food pantry to get noodles and peanut butter than I was in 2016 making $120,000 a month. True story. You are the one writing the script. All you got to do is flip the script, change the narrative, create a plot twist. There is no reason for you to live one single day miserable. You can have and be and do anything you want. And you can have a 3-day weekend every day of your life. And it's always a 3-day weekend because even today, who doesn't want to close out the month? Who doesn't want to be like, oh my gosh, look at this team running. We're going to become number one. This is so fun. Like, I love what I do. So it's a rhythm of life. If you don't know what it is you love, if you don't know what your strengths are, this is a great book. I know I promote it a lot. It's an old book, but I'm going to end with this. You need to picture abundance. We first must successfully and repetitively in a mental state of abundance, say, why? Why not me? Because our mind creates the results. And when you affirm the following things every morning and every night, preferably for 30 days straight. I'm doing 100 days straight in case you guys haven't been following. 100 days. Do this just prior to sleep and before you get out of bed in the morning, and repeat it with a feeling of belief, imagination, acceptance, confidence. You say, I am abundant in every good way. Infinite money is mine to earn, to invest, exponentially multiply, and to share. That's a big one. You got to be a giver. My abundance is making everyone better off. And I embrace abundance, and abundance embraces me. I know my abundance is making everyone better off because I want to give away more than I even keep. I think when you figure out what it is that really makes you tick and you think about your strengths and your happiness and your rhythm of life, For me, it's got to be fun, or I'm not going to be wanting to do it for very long. I love to work and I love to help people. I want it to be family. And if it's not just my family, I want to create family, because that feeling of loving and being loved, celebrating and being celebrated, valuing people and being valued. I mean, it's an energy, it's a vibe. And I'm telling you guys, ever since I found a way that I could teach people how to rise and vibe, and I could talk about frequency and vibration and abundance and how you could have and be and do anything you dreamed of, I have been the happiest person in the world. And energy matches energy. So you can either rise and vibe or you can stay low. It's up to you. But you do have a choice. And all you have to do is say, why not me? Why not now? So it's Labor Day weekend. I hope all of you guys have an amazing holiday. Many of you are celebrating with family. Drop in the comments, what are your plans for the weekend? And if you love, love, love your job, tell me what you do. Tell me how you make impact. If you don't and you want to make a pivot, get with the person that shared this video with you or message me, and I will connect you with someone who can mentor you, coach you, and help you to co-create the life of your dreams so you don't have regret. And at the end of this life, you made impact, you served others, you were a witness in a positive way, and you create legacy, money that will come in for your family long after you're gone. I hope you guys have an amazing Labor Day. I'll talk to you next week on No Guts, No Story.